also in Creation Cakes and William and Mathis accounting entry. This is Russ Long. 17:31.1731 for Russ Lum on the first lap. 2 laps of qualifying here. Lum would also like to thank Robertson's performance, Operation Mexican Restaurant, Black Flag Racing, Drummond Auto, for the number 6 car, Russ Lum is currently third in the point standings. Here's the number 48 car for Cottage Grove. This is Josh Black. Josh Black is the number 48 car. 1766 for the 48 car of Josh Black on the first lap, sponsored by Let's Go Automotive, Healthy Express, Blondie Cleaners, Festival Print Shop, 1-800 Radiators, Federal Bank, and Technical Here's the 10C car, the driver currently 7 points coming into the night. That is Ross Denton of Yon Collin. Ross Denton in the number 10C. Fast out of line. That's going to be good enough for fastest so far in these qualifications. Next to qualify number 25 car, Venus Equal Power. Equal Power in the Pro Auto. Your roll gets by race cars. Third average on electric number 25. 1772, 1772 on the first lap for the 25 entry of Howard. Also like to thank a auto ranking and Caribbean Sun-Tanning from Springfield. Ranking is Ross Denton in 1694. This is the number 73 from Cottage Grove. This is Darren Crooks. Darren Crooks and Eco Machine Technologies Auto Solutions. 1797 on the first line, 1797. Crooks would also like to thank Sustainable Agricultural Technologies as well as Steve Bagley and Robert Gannon for their help this season. Just a friendly reminder, raffle tickets will be on sale throughout the evening tonight. Courtesy of the Cottage Grove High School cheerleaders, they're going to be making their way through. They're in the blue and gold, I believe, black jackets. Tonight, here's the 7 car from Eugene. This is Marina Star Ferguson. $1960 for the 7 car from Eugene. The Axe Palace sponsored entry. Special thanks going to Dad, along with Skeet Phillips, Paul Cope, and Jeff Castro. This is Raquel Ivy. Reverse casinos, RW doing first up for
The scheduled distance. First one. And we're underway, and it's Josh Black looking with the early race lead side by side for the second spot. Roston and Darren Brooks. And 48 Josh Black looking to lead. Starring Ferguson and Howard. And trouble, it looks like they're right front tire here on the 73 car. Darren Brooks, that's going to hold up track with the tag pin. And Brooks is able to make it on his own. Running in second, now running in third is Brainstorm Ferguson. Ron Strickland is looking for that position on the high side. Now in the sixth, trying to lead in the fourth for Black. Looking for the top place position. Howard all there. At the front of the field, West Plum looking on the inside. Josh Black on the 48 point, trying to hold on to his lead. Simultaneously between Stark Ferguson and on the inside, pick up high, once again going for the lead. Nice goes West Plum. Josh Black not going to give it up. Plum trying to steal off the position. He's going to do some Josh Black running in second. Stark Ferguson for fourth. Looks like she is going to do so. As West Plum says, the lead is starting to pull away from the field. Josh Black. Blacks continue to wind down. No time to lose their time. Here in the straight stop heat races, West Plum out going to the field. One more time out. And going into turn 3. Coming out of corner number 4. West Plum. Will be Marina Star Ferguson. This is the scheduled distance. Next holding Dave Claflin on the front row coming out of the 40. Here at the
It's the Van Dam Dairy, GMS Jump Metalworks, Jack Dilly Logging, Michael Shoeway Industries, Short Racing Engine Drive, and this from Claw, Washington, Mr. Rich Jean-Claude, I just call him HVD, there he is, Henry Van Dam.
Going to Romantico on the inside, coming in the evening, currently second in the point standings. The Extreme Oil Technology, Northern Provincial Golf Club, Pipeline, Scott Safety, Doors Racing Farms, Impact Racing, Max Oil Field, Larson Run, Logging, Wildlife Enterprises, WP Logging, number 39C, the Short Racing Engine Powered Maxim Chassis from Burlington, Washington, the Richard and Elena Sawyer on 39C of Racing, Jason Sorrell. On the outside, Neptune Super Point, Lindbergh Mounted Building. Winningham Motorsports, number 22 Maxim Chassis. That is Aaron Lindbergh.
Row number 3 on the inside, the 11W, coming in running 13 points. It's the Minor Graphics and Blasters Incorporated Cambridge, sponsored Shark Racing Engines Triple X for the 20-year-old with 2 standard Speedway wins. To his credit, the last couple years out of Buffalo, Washington, Shane Brewers. And right beside him, the colorful 6 in the machine. Ultras Desert Rose Casino, Tom White Trucking, Nutter Racing Engines, Cycler Chassis, Prince Custom Trucks, Landmark Construction, Rocket Design. From the Bedford, they call him the Chief, Philip Del Rosa.
In the fourth and final row, starting on the inside, will be the Oregon Bruins Action, Astro 13, Walking Farms, number 26F, French Springer Racing Engine, Maxim Chassis, Cottage, Shane Forte. On the outside of Forte from White Rock, British Columbia, it's CSA Transportation, Car Sand and Gravel, TCM Masonry, CSA.com, Westmar Racing Engine, Powered Maxim Chassis, up the number 2, Mike Knowles.
That's your lineup, folks, for the first of 5 10-lap races. 8 cars for 10 laps. Let's get back to racing. We've got a bunch of people. We've got a bunch we can say we kick off a busy month of July. That's an understatement. We race 9 times in the next 3 weeks. That's over half of our season 17 races in the next 3 weeks. You throw in a couple of other special events, weekly shows these drivers, some of them will race 13 times in the next 29 days. Lisa, thank you very much, and thanks to all of you again for your donations to the Travis Ridge Recovery Fund. There's your drivers and heat race blood number. Folks, let them hear you. Again, passing points and finishing points. Through the heat races, the more cars you pass, the more points you get. Top 16 go to the feature. The truck line in turn number 4 is where we'll turn it loose. That front row is side by side, wing to wing, and wheel to wheel. Zeitler on the inside, Van Dam top side. Winner, let's get it. Zeitler, Forte, Del Rosa.
For you, Realty, RowdyRebel.com, who took out the title, Shark Racing Engines Rocket Chassis of Speedway.
Row number 3 on the inside. The flag is the second youngest driver. Perfection clutch, axle, and Paula Medford at 7. Jim Gas, and right beside him, machine currently points. 7 drivers. All 3 vehicles so far this year had a nice run in the Dirt Cup. Again, this year, finished in 7th line. It's the Ultra Brothers excavating. That's great. Power KPC entry, Vanilla Motorsports, BMI truck bodies and powder coating out of Tacoma, Washington. He is Mitch Olson.
And we're into the 4th and final row, starting on the inside 7th place position. Here for the first time, Speedway, the Dave Smith Motorsports, powder coating 8. Joe's Racing Parts, Track Racing. From Wolf Creek, Washington, Cameron Smith. And rounding up the field, number 15, car from Prineville, Mike Street Center, Mike Smolvix, Grizzly Rock Products, Pigs Racing, Triple X Chassis, the number 15, Brad Rose.
Number 2 of 5, Washington's Van 1E1. This one. He races 2 V-Mains and a 30-lap main feature tonight, paying $2,000 to win again tomorrow. Extra prize money added to the first, $2,500 to win tomorrow night. And again, 2 separate nights of racing. No carryover in points or anything from tonight to tomorrow. Let's hear it for those drivers in Heat 2, folks. And you know, it's just a credit to these drivers as we watch them race in Oregon for the first time this year. You know, we all know how fast and exciting these cars are. But, you know, these crews, they spend so much time, effort, and money preparing them. You know, especially under the beautiful blue skies and sunshine. Don't they look beautiful? I mean, they are just some gorgeous, gorgeous looking cars. They not only go fast, they look good too, don't they? That's a good sight. And then, as we said earlier, kind of neat back clocks here this weekend, bringing back an old Northern Sprint Tour tradition. 1996 to 1999. Show on the 4th of July last weekend. Let's bring that back.
It was wonderful. He was all the way up. He was all the way up.
Washington front row. Jake Van, Matt Brown, out of corner number 4 when they hit the chuck. It's picked off the gas.
125. Dale Smith, how are you, my friend? Oh, it's so nice to see Dale here in the grandstand, but gosh darn it, I miss seeing him out there.
Me too.
Number 21 from Colfax, California. They call him the Colfax Comic, Colby Weeks.
And we say it a lot, another second-generation driver, his dad, Gary Weiss, a fixture down there in Central California for many years. Racing a lot of Bernie Purcell, Speedway, Grants Valley, Placerville, Chico, etc. Colby Weiss, nice to have him here with us, along with Willie Croft, Andy Craig, Stephen Tyner, all from California, Steve Stone out of Arizona. And these guys are heavy hitters, folks. They will all be in the mix over the course of the next couple of nights. So Van Dam wins Heat 1, Olsen wins Heat 2. And just think about the points and how this is going to shake down here. Mitch Olsen's victory in Heat 2, he could very well be, even though we've led 2 out of the 5 heat races, he could very well end up being the top point guy. When you charge from 6 to a win, he'll definitely be in the top 8. He could very well be number 1 after the heat race totals are all added up.
Yes, he could. And that goes on the other side of rolling the dice a little bit. You don't want to get out of that but you also want to just sit back and just be set on cruise control and just sort yourself out because this is the next year following. The guy that starts in last place, he can finish on top before you know it, the numbers right now.
Or attempting to score with us, 100 points for a heat race with 93 points per second, a 7.1 per position. Again, passing points in addition to the finishing points, 5 points for every position in the game. However, you lose 1.5 points for every position that is lost. What do you think so far, folks? You having fun tonight? Marvin down there too. Marvin, how you doing, buddy? Marvin Smith in the house. Marvin, I had my fingers crossed this weekend. Just maybe there's a chance the 41 might appear with Dale or yourself behind the wheel. This year, at some point, you still got all the stuff, right? Okay, folks, heat race number 3. Here we go. Points race. Those points started tonight. These 2 races added to the 5 Speedway races a $5,000, a whopping $5,000 point fund, thanks to our friends from Jack Dilly Logging in Elma, Washington. So we'll try this again, man. Complete restart.
All right, Oregon, Washington on the front row. Kyle Miller, Brock Lindley, the green. long turn in the main event. And I do have to apologize to but I decided Rob would make the pass a little bit, that Rob would become a candidate for the top point man. That's impossible because Wilson started at 6 and Rob didn't put a down payment. Wouldn't be too bad.
Now, what do you think, folks? Is that 29 car going to pull something off like the 98 car did in the last heat? Who thinks 29 can get around 40 Lemley? Who's cheering for Lemley, the 40? About the 9P of Peterson. 3 laps to go. Lemley hits the goal.
On the outside of Barnes from Roseburg. The 2009 Rivet Sprint Trip Team. DC Motorsports Market Designs, Triple X chassis of the 10K Jeep.
Row number 3 on the inside of 57C. He was a guest on our pre-race internet show along with Mike Melwicks earlier today. I think he did an all-Canadian passing point. Don't forget, you can watch all those shows live at 4 o'clock Pacific time at thepassingpoint.com. They are archived at ASCS Northwest as well. The 57C, folks, one of the most versatile racers in the Northwest. The West Coast, for that matter. He races 360s, he races 410s, he races wings, he races non-wings, he races sprints, he races midgets. Next weekend, he will race in State Line, Idaho, on the pavement with the wing, with the NSRA sprint cars. 2 nights later, he will join us in Bedford for the start of Speedway. He's even raced midgets, he's raced the USAC Turkey Night at Irwindale, California numerous times, and even did a little bit of time in NASCAR Winston West Stunt Car. The Lejeune Performance Tall Car, Walls and Ceilings, Walt and Brandon Peterson entry for the 33-year-old from beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, where the daffodils always bloom, Chris Schmelsley. And right beside him,
from Sequel, Washington, the number 73, the color, the fast girl, Danielle Gibson. And running up the field, getting his first career victory here in April of 2010. The number 2 LA trader from Oregon, Washington, the Sequel, the Trophy, Lighting Headliners, Vehicle FX, Graphics, Hometown Sports, Maxi Chassis, Track Racing Engines for the 2-hour, Logan Fuller.
That's your starting lineup for Heat 4 of 5. So far, it's been all Washington. Henry Van Dam, Heat 1. Mitch Olson, Heat 2. Brian Lemley. Heat 3. Who's cheering for British Columbia, Canada in this line? Who's cheering for California, the Golden State? Washington, the Evergreen State. How about the drivers from right here in Oregon? Okay, one more time. Oregon, Washington, California, British Columbia. How many of you don't care who wins as long as it's a heck of a race? It always gets the biggest cheer.
It's got the biggest demographic as well.
I think you're right. As the sun slowly sets, just a little bit over in turn 1 and a little bit of the backstretch. Still in the sunshine. Heat race number 4. Visalia, that's down near Fresno. Steven Tyner picking up the victory. That's your lineup for heat race number 5, the final heat of the evening. Dan, as we said, we have quantity, 40 cars, we have quality. With a series of track champions scattered throughout this field, folks. Let them hear you, the drivers in the 5th and final heat ranks. You know, and sometimes you hear announcers and broadcasters talk about star-studded lineups, etc. Maybe not always the case, maybe stretching the truth a little bit. Every bit a star-studded lineup here this weekend, to be sure.
And these heat races tonight are tough. As Andy Gregg in Rotten Crockett.
Standings here at Cottage Speedway 1-2. That's Andy Gregg, Bergman, and
Cottage roll number 2. We're ready to start the race. Back up to this guy, welcome in Boston. Lewis Point fast from Isaac. This season has been dominated by the two Langdon brothers, TJ and Andrew. Out of quarter number 4, Alan Jacobs. And Dixon once more working on high side. This time doesn't get away from the lead so easily. April Howard in the 25 trying to steal out for the top spot. April Howard looking for the first 2010 no time for second. in trouble for Brooks once again. Gets sideways at turn number 2. That's going to bring up to Cottage. Visit. Then ball around in here and kind of throw. Here's the new center. 2 backs into this one. 13 to go. Rush come. With a good run on the inside of the racetrack. Still side by side with Ross Hinton for the second place position. Going in the right direction. Paul Block was looking for the second spot. Now Josh Black is coming. Garrett Brooks. Howard has the lead still, but is now under the pressure.
Not bowling. Bowling a lot.
Side by side as they go on the front of the boards. Ross doing that rebound here. Ross taking the second spot. And now Ross is going to put that application for the candidacy as the race leader. Both of these guys follow and follow control. So let's come. Ross Hinton on the high side. Trying to finish block. April Howard runs it over to Josh Black and Dennis Stockholm rounds up to the trying to retain the lead. Ross Hinton is not right up at all as they come out of court number 4. Ross Hinton. Here they come. White flag. Trouble with a Hinton. All right, we're going to find out who's going to pick up the It could not avoid that to happen at all. And Russ Plum. Russ getting insistent, trying to make up the distance and battle for Brooks. Now quarter number 4, Russ Plum is going to
Number 4, the 76 from Tacoma White Washington is Sean Rice. The 11W from Seabrook, Washington is Shane Brewers. Row number 5, the 10J. The rookie is Jake Waddell out of Roseburg. The 19, TJ Hartman from Puyallup. He's made all 3 main events so far this year. He's going to hustle hard. He wants to make it 4 for 4. Obviously, the 57X racing here for the first time all the way from Mesa, Arizona, a regular with the ASCS Southwest Series. And the 12P from Meridian, Idaho is Randy Pierce. Race fans, let them hear you. Your drivers in B-Main number 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 4. And then, you know, due to various economic reasons, etc. Over the last few years, I have not been able to use this line that I used to use quite regularly with the NST and NSCS, but racetrack promoters all over North America would love, they would beg, they would plead to have this as their A featured race. But here tonight in Cottage Grove, Oregon, race number 4 of the season series. If you can believe it, this is only one of the B mains. Looking forward, need more luck. Here we go. Washington is the 2L of Glenfoot Logan Ford. The 17-year-old wins it. And hanging on for second in just his second race of the year. From right here at Cottage Grove, he gets a ticket to the big dance. Big luck! But I'll tell you, Ben, Andy Gregg was charging hard late. Lap traffic. Points behind Roger Crockett. By the way, my apologies to Colin Baker and Seth Bergman fans. I told you earlier that Colin Baker had qualified for the feature. It's the other 23 of Bergman, who's already in the game, and Colin Baker on the pole of this the second feature. Just like the first one. All of the cars for 12 laps only. The top two, and just like the first one, Ben, this race is loaded.
We've seen impossible the last 2 days in the World Cup. Argentina is
in one lap, and then now he could. It is now a real possibility, even without any red, that he could get to the top two now, even without any more, just say, cautions or red flags. It will be interesting. And again, this race has changed. It's a water fight. Since those heat races, it is a faster track now, more even applies in those last few heats.
Colin Baker sends us over the
20 laps the distance. for Brendan Boyce of Cottage Grove, race fans.
Car. Front right here in Cottage Grove, Nate Morlock. Starting in the 15th position. Already one limited sprint main event win here, as well as the second B main from Cottage Grove, Colin Baker. Picked up the season opener victory here in the 360s in April. Starting in the 17th place position for Morning Washington. Let's put Logan Forward. Dan Rory on the outside again, running a real limited schedule. He's into the big dance tonight on a prime film. The cousin of Chad, it's Brad Groves. And on the inside of number 8, starting 15, the 55 car, the youngest driver in the field at just 14 years of age, winning our rookie points race out of Buella, Washington, Kid Rock, Trey Starks.
Your current point leader at the Grays Harbor Raceway, currently 5th in the point standings for the AFCS Northwest region, and he will start in the 14th place position from Snohomish, Washington, with 5 wins already at the Grays Harbor Raceway in 2010. Seth Perfect. On the inside of Portland, starting in the 13th place position, all the way from Vancouver Island, from the city of Victoria, British Columbia, Chris Schmelsley.
To number 6 on the outside, starting 13, coming into this weekend's second Cottage Grove Speedway points, the 18-year-old out of Central Point. He is charging Chad Nolan. And on the inside of number 6, the 7th, and Shane for the 2-time Cup champions. He finished 3rd this year. The former ASCS Northwest champion, winning the first title back in 2008. The car is out of France. Past the driver from Everett, Washington, Romantic, Jamie Barnes.
Going to the 5th row, 10th starting place position, the number 94 car from Visalia, California. Already in California Civil War Series win in 2010. Let's welcome Steven Tyner. On the inside is Steven Tyner with 2 victories at the Skagit Speedway in 2010. Starting in the 9th place position from Stanwood, Washington, Jared Peterson.
Row number 4 on the outside, coming in the right, 3rd point. Speaking of Skagit Speedway, a champion there, both the 360 and the 410 division. From Bellingham, Washington, the next big thing, Brett Lemley. And on the inside, starting 7th, the 29 car racing here for the 3rd time this year for the former Mini Gold Cup champion of Chico, California. From Citrus Heights, California, welcome back, Willie Croft.
Starting in the 6th place position, 3rd row outside the number 98 from Tacoma, Washington, currently 4th in the standings of the AFCS Northwest region. Let's welcome Nick Olson. On the inside of Olson, starting in the, which will make up the 5th place position from Junction City, 26th and Ushy, 14.
Row number 2 on the outside, the 08. He is the all-time 360 track record holder at the Grays Harbor Raceway with an average speed that night of 111 miles an hour. Out of Kirkland, Washington, to Seattle, Steve Vig on the inside of row number 2, starting 3rd in the number 22 car, coming to the right, 14 points. From Medford, Garen Linder.
Into this evening's front row for night number 1. Starting on the outside, pole position from Medford. Already 4 victories at the Cottage Grove Speedway. 1 with the ASCS Northwest region. He currently leads the points for Cottage Grove Speedway as well as the ASCS Northwest region. And this is the all-time winner with the ASCS Northwest region, the defending series champion from Medford, the Rocket, Roger Crockett. And sharing the front row with him, winning for his first career victory at the Cottage Grove Speedway. Native Washington, currently 2nd in the point standings. The Grays Harbor Raceway with 1 victory, and 9th in the point standings.
season points being tallied, all brought to you by General Lockett. All right, folks. Cottage Grove, you know what time it is? Of course you do. Time for everybody to get up on your feet for that sprint car tradition as we go 4 wide for you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is race number 4 of the 2010 ASCS Northwest Region season. This is your feature main event. Let 'em hear ya! Especially on the tight quarter-mile full rings like this one. Comes into play. Oh no, Steve Bain to the pit area, scheduled to start 4th. Oh, what a heartbreaking turn of events. The 08 Steve Bain of Washington has pulled his car to the pit area, and he was scheduled to start in the number 4 position. And he is going to the work area. We can see him just underneath the Budweiser KCK sign. So it means he thinks something can be repaired, but then repairs. He doesn't get a starting spot back once you go to the pit area. You got to start last.
That's a tough break, but you know, if they can get it out, it's better than not getting out at all. That is one possible way to look at it. And you know, that's distance. That's a lot of time to make up some ground, but boy, that is no helping hand having to go to the pit.
Yeah, you work so hard to get into the top 8, get in the fill draw, get to number 4, and gosh darn it, that's a tough one to take. 2 minutes from the time he stops the work area, see if they can get him going again. If not, we will have to leave without him. We said this is our 4th race of the season. 3 races, 3 different winners. Steve Bain returns to the track, folks. Let him hear you. Yes, it was Jason Sowell winning on opening night in Washington. Over in Montana, it was Roger Crockett and Gary Taylor victorious. And again, Ben, as always, we'll watch Crockett and Van Dam and Lifter and Mitch Olson up front. But we're going to keep an eye on that 39C Sowell starting at the back. This should be fun to watch. All right, folks, what's up, lights? One more time around, which means it's time to batten down the hatches. Somebody quickly lock the door. Things are gonna get wild. Henry Van Dam, Roger Crockett, front row. Here we go. the second place car of Henry Van Dam, and race fans non-stop 30 laps in 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Man, unbelievable. Even though Crockett had it in the bag, no problem. You know what he was trying to do there. He wanted to lap the field. In one more lap, he might have done it.
It could have been possible. It very well could have been possible. And I have a feeling he knew it was going to be possible. Boy, and you know, Fred, honestly, this is a little bit emotional for me, you know, because I thought I would see the 8R car. Completely different circumstance with the track condition.